So I take a look at this problem, and as I'm looking at this problem, I see that we have a really long problem. 2.3, parentheses 7x plus 4, parentheses plus 3.6 equals 17.63. And I start to say, wait, where are we at? What are we doing? How do I want to do this? My goal is to get the variable by itself first. So I know parentheses I can distribute. So I'm going to go ahead and start with distributing times it here and times it there. I'm not going to times it over to the 3 because the 3 is not part of the parentheses. So the first thing I do is I do 2.3 times 7, and that gives me 16.1. X, of course, plus 4 times 2.3 is 9.2. That 3.6 is just hanging out. We'll just leave it hanging out. Equals 17.63. Now I have a couple of options at this point. Some students like to combine these two together, and they'll add them together. Not the x, though. Don't add the x. Other students like to just minus a 3.6 and then minus a 9.2. There's not a right or a wrong here. I'm going to go ahead and add them first, but that doesn't mean that that's what the best or only way to do it. So when I add 9.2 plus 3.6, I get 12.8 for a total of 17.63. So then I have to, this one has a variable, this one doesn't have a variable, this one doesn't have a variable. I want to put the two without variables together. So my next step is going to be to minus the 12.8 from both sides, which makes the 12.8 go away. We're left with the 16.1x on this side, 12.8s are gone, and 17.63 minus 12.8 is 4.83. So our final step is going to be to divide both sides by 16.1. Divide by 16.1 here, and divide by 16.1 there. Well, 16.1 divided by 16.1 goes away, and we're just left with x here. And 4.83 divided by 16.1 is 0.3. And that's it. We did it. Final answer. All of that work, we ended up with an answer. Okay, our next one is almost the exact same strategy. So the first thing we want to do is, on this one, I'm going to do it a little different than the last one just to show you a second method. If you like the first method, just stick with it. It's great. I'm going to do this one just a little different to show you a second strategy, to give you options. The first thing I did on this one is said, well, this one doesn't have a variable, and there's a lot of really scary parentheses here, so I'm going to ignore those, and I'm going to say this one doesn't have a variable, and this one doesn't have a variable, so we're going to get those two together. Now, because there's an equal sign there, there's my line, I got to add to get those together. So the first thing I'm going to do on this one is plus 3.2 on both sides. When I do that, I still have this 3.5 parentheses 4.2x minus 7 parentheses. 3.2s are now gone, equals, and I type in negative 5.65 plus 3.2 is negative 2.45. Okay, now, because the only thing I have on the side is parentheses, I don't have to distribute. I could distribute, and it would be just fine. Or I could divide. I'm going to choose to divide, just again, because I wanted to show you multiple ways of doing the problem. I divide by the 3.5 on both sides, because the parentheses out front means it's being times. So the opposite of timesing is dividing. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3.5. On this side, on the left side, it leaves me with 4.2x minus 7. On the right side, it leaves me with negative 0.7. Okay, at this point, it's a two-step equation. So to finish it off, I add 7 to both sides. When I add 7 to both sides, not 78, just 7, I get 4.2x on the side, the 7s are gone, equals 6.3, because negative 0.7 plus 7 is 6.3. Final step, I'm going to divide by 4.2 here and here. So I take my calculator, because I don't want to do that by hand. I do 6.3 divided by 4.2, and that gives me a nice, pretty 1.5. Yay for math teachers that make things come out nice and pretty. We got this.